In the annals of history, few books have commanded the power to shape the destiny of a nation and ignite the flames of revolution across the globe. This is not just any book, it's a manifesto, a guide, a weapon in the hands of millions. Quotations from Chairman Mao Zedong, more commonly known as the Little Red Book, is a collection of words that fueled the Cultural Revolution and spread the ideology of Maoism far beyond China's borders. But what makes this book so potent? Why did it become a symbol of revolution, not just in China, but across the world? To understand the power of the Little Red Book, we must first understand the man behind it, Mao Zedong, the founding father of the People's Republic of China. Born in 1893, Mao's early years were marked by a passion for revolution and a belief in the transformative power of the masses. By the time he led the Chinese Communist Party to victory in 1949, Mao had already become a figure of immense influence. But it was during the Cultural Revolution, a period from 1966 to 1976, that Mao's ideas would crystallize into a doctrine that would permeate every aspect of Chinese life. The Cultural Revolution was Mao's attempt to reassert his control over the Communist Party and the direction of China's future. It was a time of upheaval, where traditional values were uprooted, intellectuals persecuted, and the youth mobilized into Red Guards. Central to this movement was the Little Red Book, a collection of 427 quotations drawn from Mao's speeches and writings, compiled by Lin Biao, one of Mao's closest allies. This book became the ideological foundation of the Cultural Revolution, with millions of copies distributed across the country. To the youth of China, it was more than just a book, it was the very essence of Maoism. So, what exactly does the Little Red Book say? Let's dive into some of its most significant themes and quotations, beginning with perhaps its most famous line. Political power grows out of the barrel of a gun. This statement is a stark reminder of Mao's belief in the necessity of armed struggle to achieve and maintain political power. It reflects the harsh realities of the revolutionary era, where the use of force was often seen as the only means to secure a new order. Mao's emphasis on armed struggle is further exemplified in his thoughts on guerrilla warfare. He famously said, "The guerrilla must move amongst the people as a fish swims in the sea." This metaphor encapsulates Mao's strategy of involving the masses in the revolutionary process, making the people both the protectors and the sustainers of the guerrilla forces. It was this approach that played a crucial role in the Communist Party's victory in the Chinese Civil War. Another recurring theme in the book is self-reliance. Mao believed that China must stand on its own 2 feet, free from dependence on foreign powers. We must be self-reliant, turning disadvantage into advantage and meeting the enemy with courage and strength, he wrote. This notion of self-reliance became a cornerstone of Mao's domestic policies, driving initiatives like the Great Leap Forward, which aimed to rapidly industrialize China by relying on its vast labor force. The role of the masses is perhaps the most central theme in the Little Red Book. Mao often stressed that the people and the people alone are the motive force in the making of world history. To Mao, revolution was not just the task of a few leaders, but a collective endeavor of the entire population. This belief in the power of the masses led to the mass mobilization efforts seen during the Cultural Revolution, where ordinary citizens were encouraged to participate in the political life of the country. In one of his more conciliatory quotes, Mao said, "Let 100 flowers bloom, let 100 schools of thought contend." This was a call for intellectual diversity, encouraging different ideas and viewpoints to flourish. However, in practice, this slogan was followed by the anti-rightist campaign, which targeted intellectuals who voiced dissenting opinions, demonstrating the often contradictory nature of Mao's policies. The Little Red Book was not confined to China. Its influence spread far beyond Asia, reaching revolutionary movements in Africa, Latin America, and even parts of Europe. For many in the global South, Mao's ideas provided a blueprint for anti-colonial struggle and the fight against imperialism. In countries like Peru, the Maoist Shining Path movement drew heavily from the ideology laid out in the Little Red Book. Even in the West, during the tumultuous 1960s, the book became a symbol of radicalism, finding a place in the hands of student protesters and leftist intellectuals. But what about today? Does the Little Red Book still hold relevance in our modern world? For many, the book is now more of a historical artifact, a symbol of a bygone era of revolutionary fervor. Yet, its impact on global political thought remains undeniable. The ideas contained within these pages continue to be studied, debated, and in some cases, revered by those who seek to understand the complexities of power, ideology, and revolution. Of course, no review of the Little Red Book would be complete without addressing the darker aspects of its legacy. The Cultural Revolution, while aiming to create a classless society, led to widespread chaos and suffering. Intellectuals were persecuted, cultural heritage was destroyed, and millions were affected by the social upheaval. The book's role as a tool of propaganda, used to justify these actions, has been heavily criticized. Many argue that the Little Red Book represents not just revolutionary zeal, but also the dangers of ideological extremism. In conclusion, Quotations from Chairman Mao Zedong is more than just a collection of aphorisms. It is a window into the mind of one of the 20th century's most influential and controversial leaders. Whether you see it as a blueprint for revolution, a symbol of oppression, or a historical relic, its impact on the world cannot be denied. For those interested in the history of political thought, the Little Red Book offers a fascinating, albeit complex, exploration of power, ideology, and the human condition. What are your thoughts on the Little Red Book? Has it influenced your understanding of political history, or do you see it as a cautionary tale of the dangers of ideology? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful book reviews. Until next time, keep reading, keep questioning, and keep exploring.